As we continue our journey, we notice the world around us, the water beneath our bow, the trees on the banks of the river, and of course the fish. These are the various components that combine together to create an ecosystem. An ecosystem is defined as a conceptual unit of organisms interacting with each other. I'm standing on a Japanese bridge straddling a freshwater pond at Royal Roads University. This pond illustrates this concept beautifully. The concept of thinking about your business as part of an ecosystem is a useful thought. You are not operating in a vacuum, but as part of an interdependent system. One part of the system will impact on all.
I would like you to reflect for a moment upon your ecosystem while looking at the strategic management fish tank. The water in this fish tank is impacted by external attributes, much like the pH level in your children's home fish tank. You will note the political, economic, social, technical, and cultural attributes and others change the pH level in the fish tank. Certainly with 9/11, the political and economic attributes shifted dramatically and changed how folks had to do business. You'll also note, and extremely important in this model, as we'll be talking more about it later in this presentation, what is termed the 4 generic building blocks of competitive advantage. They are superior quality, superior efficiency, superior innovation, and superior customer responsiveness. These 4 generic building blocks, if you do these better than your competition, then you will win. You'll also notice small little fish represented, and that's folks much like yourself that are dealing in local and regional fish tanks, but you're nevertheless impacted by these attributes. But as you grow and decide to go international or global, you'll note the fish get larger, and although the same attributes are present, they become much more complex in a global setting. Within all of this, you then must fully evaluate the ecosystem within the fish tank and craft your strategy, whether that be a low-cost strategy or a differentiated strategy. More on this is contained in the reference material in this CD. Consider the ripples through the political and economic ecosystem experienced by your business as a direct result of 9/11. Clearly, it was not just the aircraft industry impacted by the terrorist attacks of 9/11. The ripples were felt throughout a wide range of industries to include tourism, hospitality, insurance, and even child and pet care. In a marvelous national bestseller by Malcolm Gladwell, The Tipping Point, Gladwell explains how little things can make a big difference. When you are paddling along in your canoe, you know this to be true. A minor scratch on the bottom of your canoe could potentially end your trip. Similarly, when you're running a business, you must constantly be scanning and identifying the early warning signs in your firm's ecosystem. You're looking for any potential threats or opportunities. You must identify and deal with them at the earliest opportunity. Your job as CEO is to mitigate these threats and to exploit the opportunities presented by change in your ecosystem. As small business entrepreneurs, when you are presented with turbulent white water of change, there are 3 ways you can operate in this environment. You can react, anticipate change, or lead change. When you are in the reactive mode, you respond to events as they happen to you. This is a defensive strategy and unlikely to lead to fresh new opportunities, but nevertheless is one of the strategic postures that you might have to use from time to time. Anxiety and stress are the hallmarks of a small entrepreneur frozen in this position. It is not a good place to be, and you should not stay long. Second, you can anticipate change. You can, whenever possible, look ahead for the eddies and whitewater rapids and prepare for that future to arrive. You can select from courses. It is also a defensive strategy against forces outside your control. It can produce some opportunities at times, and it too will form part of the strategic options available to you in crafting a winning strategy. The third option is to lead change and to initiate the market. This means initiating the market, controlling the industry, setting the standard for the rest to follow, and by creating competitive forces that others have to respond to. You'll be first to market. You'll be the technological leader. You'll have the attributes to shape customer preferences. Now, many of you are probably saying to yourself, I'm too small to make a difference.
Old mental model. You can lead change. Here are two examples of very small business entrepreneurs who adopted new, innovative, efficient, quality, and customer-responsive core competencies that revolutionized and changed their industries.
My first example on leading change is a young man who thought about a different way of managing the distribution channel of a very large firm. That firm's distribution channel was the Goliath of the industry. It provided for a great number of intermediaries to take the product from the factory through the hands of brokers and wholesalers and agents and retailers and finally to the customer. After reflective thought and applying a new mental model on how he might lead change, the young man concluded that he could build the product initially in his garage and deliver it directly to the consumer using FedEx, and thereby bypassing all the intermediaries. This, of course, led to great savings. His name? Michael Dell. Big Blue, IBM, they know his name well. A second example is that of an 18-year-old young man who simply wanted to acquire and share music. Using a new mental model and new technology, he developed a new distribution channel that devastated the slow-moving firms in the recording industry. I'm sure that the Napster story is well known to you. Both of these entrepreneurs turned the disadvantage of being small entrepreneurial businesses without capital into an advantage that the large firms were not able to replicate quickly. The large firms could not adapt their well-established infrastructure to accommodate the new ecosystem. I recently completed a survey of CEOs of 28 major firms. I found the following attributes highly prized. How would you rate your key success factor skills against the results demonstrated in this chart? The key success factors to lead change is that you require strong, courageous leadership. You must have a communication system well established within your organization. You must create a sense of urgency within your organization. You must have the metrics to be able to measure, monitor, adapt, and overcome to the changes in your ecosystem. You must develop a learning community that all folks lever the knowledge within your organization and share. You must empower your employees. You must be prepared to accept risk, but also to manage that risk. You must be able to globally share knowledge throughout the organization. You must move towards real-time financial management. There are new electronic programs available that will permit you to close within 5 days rather than the existing mental model that really provides the information 3 months or 6 months and sometimes 1 year after the event has taken place. You must exploit technology, much like we're doing today in this innovative conference. You must understand and evaluate the ecosystem correctly, and you must be prepared to implement rapid innovation. Now that you have evaluated yourself against the criteria, take a look at how the top CEOs performed. What is the link between the attributes outlined on this chart and the company's ability to lead change? In all but a few cases, I am of the opinion that sustainable competitive advantage may only be your ability to learn faster than your competitor. In other words, survival may be as simple as innovating, adapting, and overcoming faster than your competitors. It is marching to your own drum. You can't be faster if you're following. You recall the 4 generic building blocks are innovation, efficiency, quality, and customer responsiveness. If you can find ways to enhance these blocks in one or more of these areas, you'll be better than your competitor and you will survive. These 4 critical success factors or attributes of competitive advantage must all be developed with attention to a 5th factor, speed. Speed is emerging as the pivotal, critical success factor for small businesses undergoing transformation in turbulent times. In fact, the ability to act and change quickly has always been the strength of small business in general and is largely responsible for the growth of this sector. See a need, fill it effectively. For more information on these critical success factors and the generic building blocks, refer once again to the Resource Center. An STM. Can you think of a business opportunity you may have missed by waiting until more data had been obtained? What old mental model held you back?